Okay, welcome back again to Live at FDIC. This is FDIC International 2023. Today I'm here with Eric Ward, and he is the health segment leader at Task Force Tips. And what we're going to be talking today is a topic that has become very pervasive throughout the fire service, and that's cancer. We're going to talk a little bit about what Task Force Tips has for that. But we hear a lot of conversations about cancer and health concerns. What is TFT doing about it?
Awesome, thanks, Chris. So we started in on this almost 2 years ago, and we recognized there was a problem right away that we could address, and that was in air quality. And we're still pushing that forward. It's been a really valuable tool, served a lot of departments. But what we've found, more recently is that departments need kind of some help identifying where they can improve and understanding, what the air quality is like, and how it can impact their health. So in the last 6 months, we've been working on a couple tools, health assessment and, something called the Air Card. It's an air quality test that gives them a clear idea of whether or not they have air quality issues in their station, in their gear room, in their apparatus, so they know kind of where to go next. So if our products, can solve a problem they have, we want to be able to identify that problem for them. So.
Okay. There are a lot of different technologies out there. One of them is ionization. Could you talk a little bit about alternative technologies?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we started working on the products that we have, so for the apparatus we have a series of products called the Crew Protect, and for the stations a series called the Station Protect. And I think if departments are looking at considering a technology, for their vehicles or their stations, one of the best things you can do is look at where else it's used. So when you think about what we do, which is HEPA and gas phase filtration versus another technology, look at the most critical air quality environments in the world. So in hospitals, in clean rooms, on aircraft, and look at what technologies they're using. I can tell you that they're all using HEPA filtration. The majority of them are using gas phase filtration. If you go to almost any hospital in the world, there's a system on the roof that when a helicopter lands, it turns on and it sucks in all of the exhaust from the helicopter. So HEPA filtration for particulates and gas phase for VOCs. So look at those environments, the hospitals, the clean rooms, and so on. They're using HEPA and they're using gas phase filtration. So to solve a critical problem like air contamination in fire stations, it's important to look at where else is that same problem pervasive and what are they using to solve it.
Now, HEPA is a pretty common term, but inside the fire service, outside of the fire service, most people are pretty familiar with it. I'm not as familiar with gas filtration media. Could you explain gas filtration media?
Yeah, absolutely. So HEPA, as you know, it takes particulates out of the air. So those particulates can be anything. It can be mold that's in a station, ash, road construction dust, and so on. So any particulates. The other things that are causing health issues in the fire service are VOCs, so volatile organic compounds. They're gases in the air like formaldehyde that cause health challenges. So to get those out of the air, because they're not solid, you have to use something else. So we use gas phase filtration. So if you look inside of one of our products like the Station Protect, there are these filter canisters that have little pellets in them, and they're purple and black. And those pellets either absorb those VOCs from the air or they convert them into solids. So formaldehyde, for example, it comes through as a gas, hits that purple media, and gets converted to sodium formate. So it goes from being a gas in the air that people can breathe in to a solid that's trapped inside of the media. Okay. So again, looking at those critical air environments, that's the technology that the hospitals and clean rooms and those are using, and that's why that's what we've deployed into fire stations.
It's amazing, you just mentioned technology. Technology comes in a variety of different forms. But whenever people start, and this week at FDIC, for sure, one of the common threads that I've seen is just how technology is impacting everything we're doing right now as firefighters. When you mentioned the station, we talked about fire apparatus, just in the two applications for this, but also, just in PPE is using higher technologies now. We were just talking this morning about the fire station of the future and how the technology is even going into there. But whenever we talk about technology, sometimes it almost scares people a little bit. It scares the bean counters at the fire departments, because then as soon as you start talking about budgeting, you're talking about budgets, right? I mean, and these days it is tough. Everything kind of costs more right now. I mean, that always happens. But but budgets are getting smaller, so you really have to be kind of almost surgical about what you're going, to decide. And so decide to budget for. So with already slim budgets, do you think air decontamination is something that every fire department should be spending part of their budget on? Yeah, absolutely. So when you look at health initiatives in fire departments and fire stations, and the thing that cause health problems, and in the technologies and what people can do to resolve them. So you put that in a couple buckets. So we have a kind of a framework called the health continuum, and it's the 4 places where there are health issues or contamination that can impact health, and then there are ways to address them. So the health continuum is the incident, the apparatus, the station, and then with your team. Okay. So inside of that, at the the incident, or we'll go to the station. So that station and that department, they can't change their call volume, and they can't change their call mix. So that's something uncontrollable. Right. And then when we look at a lot of the other things departments can do to impact health, like deconning their gear at the scene, cleaning out their vehicles, and so on. If a station goes out for a fire and they're there for 5, 6, 7 hours, and that call ends at 3 in the morning, doing some of those things can become a challenge. When everyone's exhausted, they want to get back in the vehicles and they want to head back to the station. So those are things that are compliance based. Even if you're exhausted, it takes a person doing it to actually have an impact. We've focused on air decon because it's a non-compliance based solution. So if you put air decon in a vehicle or you put it in a station, no one has to opt into it. When you're exhausted at 3 a.m. when that fire call ends, you don't have to say, well, I want my air to be cleaner now in the apparatus. I don't want to breathe in all the VOCs coming off my turnout gear. I can just get in, that air is being deconned by one of those systems. So, focusing some of that slim budget on air decon, it is absolutely a great place to be looking at, because again, you at a leadership level, you make that decision, you provide those tools, and it's helping to offset some of the other areas where you can't always guarantee that people are able to do it. So, but with that, and again, budgets, we understand. Every department we talk to all of our dealers, they share that same thing with us. Budgets are slim. So those tools that we talked about, the health assessment that's on TFT.com, or the air cards, the air quality test, you shouldn't have to dive right into spending a bunch of money on a problem that you're not confident you have yet. So we provide a couple of really inexpensive or free tools so they can dive into, okay, here are the areas where we're doing poorly, or where the environment we're working in is impacting us. Here's where we can focus our budget. So, and a lot of times that ends up being one of those things is air decon. Okay, all right. It's really amazing. I mean, we like I said, the common thread this week has been, technology. And now we're talking about, technology being used for cancer and cancer risk, to reduce cancer risk and other health risks. So it's great. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me about those things. Do you have any just general comments about those cancer and health risks in the fire service and kind of TFT's place in it? Yeah, absolutely. So something we get asked frequently is, why TFT? Why has TFT gotten into health, into air decontamination? Because it's been, for more than half of a century, has been a water flow company. And the reason is that one of our sister companies, or a few of them actually, are world leaders in air filtration, but they don't work with the fire service right now. So we took technologies that they've created that are used all over the world, and we've deployed them into a new form factor that works for fire departments, that works for the apparatus and for the stations. So for us, it was a natural transition. On the water flow side, we work really hard to save lives and protect property. We want to do the same thing long term. Fire service members,
are exposed to a lot of danger on a daily basis. We want them to get to the end of their career, healthy and able to move on to the next phase of life. So it was awesome to be able to take a trusted technology from companies that we work with, that we believe in, that we know have proven performance, and put that technology into the fire service to help save lives.
I think that's an important thing to mention. Exactly what you just said. When you think of TFT, the first thing that comes to mind is water. First thing that comes to mind are water appliances, nozzles, and all that stuff. So I think it's critically important for people to know, that TFT has gotten into this as well. Is there a specific website that will take you right to these products at TFT, or if not, how can people learn more about the products that TFT offers, the solutions really that TFT offers to reduce cancer risk and other health risks?
Yeah, absolutely. So just on TFT.com, there's a section dedicated to health products, so easy to find under the product section. But you also find a couple banners on the home screen, specifically taking stations and departments to the health assessment, and to like the air quality test, the air cards. So they're easy to find there, and they can grab them there and start testing at the station. When technology is absolutely important and pervasive, and is helping to resolve health issues. Sometimes it is those really simple things though, like just testing your air quality and then taking that inventory of here's what the industry says are the best practices, here's what we're actually doing. So departments and stations can visit TFT.com and use some of these tools. Here at the show, we're here of course in force. A lot of our team is here at booth 5101. And we're also in the Fire Station of the Future demoing some of our products. So if anyone wants to come by, hear more, understand what they can do at their stations and in their departments, there are 30 or so of my teammates ready to help talk them through that and kind of share the knowledge we put together and what we've been hearing from other departments.
Great. And if you do want to see the TFT displays or some of the products that are being talked about at the fire station of the fire rescue station of the future, that's going to be at the Lucas Oil Experience. And like Eric said, you can also find them at booth 5101. Eric, as a firefighter, thank you to TFT for everything that you are doing to work to reduce the risks of cancer for me and my fellow firefighters. And again, this has been live at FDIC. My name is Chris McClune with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment, but here at FDIC International 2023. So my thanks again to you, Eric, and to TFT for everything that you're doing.